This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pointy Bakery. If you're located in the Pointy area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pointy Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone can podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, so I was actually considering sharing the story after it had healed.
Right.
But then I was like, okay, maybe it's just like a good lesson overall. So I thought I would just share it instead, like earlier than later. But so I follow a lot of people that focus on like using negativity as motivation. Like Lex Friedman talks about that. Joe Rogan talks about that. Like your inner demon, you know? And that was something I had like instilled for a really long time. Like, I mean, I can trace it back to like university days. Like there's like, so there's always something that gives you a chip on your shoulder to make you work harder.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, that's like my motivation strategy. Like other people use like, there's like using love and inspiration, sure, whatever. But I chose like the chip on the shoulder. And it was interesting because like, if you go from like university days to martial arts days to persistence days to like working days to like COVID, I always had something to like focus all of my animosity towards, you know? And then with COVID, like separating all of us, there was no real enemy at that point.
Right.
Yeah. And because like we're all at home, we're not seeing one another. Like there was nothing, it almost seemed like the world stopped, and in its stopping, there was nothing for me to chase using the chip on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Right. So I ended up developing like stress related eczema because it was almost like my body was like, there's no chip, there's no enemy to fight. So I'm going to create an internal enemy, which is you yourself, you know? And I know it sounds like super like, all right, when I was first, so I was getting like these like crazy eczema attacks, and I was like, I've never had eczema my entire life. So I was like, where is this coming from? This is like impossible for me. Right. And I knew like people had eczema, like Tara had eczema like until she was like 20 something. Like she had it like her entire life, right? And struggled with it. And then she healed it by like avoiding sugars, because sugars are an inflammatory, and healing her gut bacteria, because all like most skin related issues all stem from like a digestion issue. I'm not saying this like I know, I'm referencing somebody who does know, which is like naturopathic doctors. Like that's how she healed it, right? She went on that, remember when she was doing like that crazy strict diet, like she cut out everything,
right?
And then all of her eczema is like gone, right? It took her like a month. And so with this like realizing like for me, it was weird because it's like, if you've never had this before, how can you develop eczema later on in life? So I was like looking into it and I was like, okay, it is somewhat possible. But then I like have like pure synchronicity. I was on Tara's friend's like Instagram, like she's a naturopathic doctor, and I was looking at the computer screen, and then because like she was like, it was a picture of them typing. I was like, oh, I wonder what computer they're using. And then in clicking on that, like for some reason that post was about this naturopathic doctor developing stress related eczema. So I was like, eczema, what? But So Tara was saying that there's this thing in the brain called the reticular activating system, and that's the thing. So you know when you're like, it's time for you to go to the dentist or something, and then like you start noticing dentists. Well, that's for me. Okay, so for you,
I see what you mean.
Right. So like the most common thing is if you're in a crowded room full of people talking, if you hear your name, you're gonna pinpoint it.
Yeah.
Right. So that your brain is always sensing it's like filtering out what
looking for patterns.
It's looking for patterns, right? And things that matter to it, right? Yeah. So it's funny because I probably would have just like ignored the eczema post, right? But then I was like, oh, this weird synchronicity. Okay, whatever. So I was like reading it, and she was like going on about how she'd never had eczema before, and like she developed it because of the stress she had around COVID and like all this, and like. And then it got me thinking, like, maybe there is a pattern here. So I like decided to ask her, like, what is the issue? And then so what's crazy is stress for eczema specifically, it stops your body from using the water it has as a protective layer against external allergens. So our cells have water, right, in them, and then if that breaks down, pollen and like dust can get in, and that's what eczema is. So parts of your body start like developing like rashes, you know? Right. And I was like, that is so insane that our minds can develop something. You know, you always think like, oh, it's like this is this. You never think like by that I mean like you think there's like a specific stimuli that's acting upon your body. Like my mom thought it was like atopical dermatitis. She's like, oh, maybe you're switching your soap or like something like that, right? And which is logical. We all think that way. But then if you think it's like stress, mental related, you're like, no, there's no way, you know? But yeah, our brains and our bodies are so linked, but we move through life not realizing it, you know? Right. And even the way I'm fixing it right now is through like taking these supplements for gut bacteria. So what it's essentially doing is it's rebuilding my gut bacteria so that it can like relearn how to defend itself. Right. With like proper like you know those like capsules I take? That's just bacteria that I'm taking. Okay. Isn't that weird? It's like yeah. And then you never think like how powerful our guts are when it comes to like protecting our body. You know what I mean? Like we have a very like separated view in science and like the modern world of like the mind and body being separate. You never really think of them as being one. You hear that in like yoga all the time, you know, the mind and body are one. Yeah. But then when you start experiencing it, you're like, oh, this is a real thing, you know? But I guess the two takeaways are focus on where your motivation's coming from.
That's causing the stress.
No, but totally for stress. But like my motivation was like to do things. It's like a chip, right? And the chip on my shoulder, it's like, yeah, that'll only take you so far. You know, it's like fuel, fire can cook your food or like burn your house down. And like if I run out of branches, I'm just gonna hack off my limbs to keep the fire going. So it's like I start attacking my own self.
Well, because it's been routine that way, right?
Yeah, I've been doing it for like years, and like, and that's where, remember 48 Laws of Power? There's like this thing called the snake with a long memory, and it's like you're very good at strategizing and using past animosity. It's like a chess game. Like I'm always playing a chess game, right? And that's what the snake with a long memory is. But who knew that the snake with a long memory would end up being my like downfall? Like the old adage of your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness, right? You know, because like that propelled me to go further because like I was able to piece things out in life. But the problem is that when there's nothing to piece out, like what do you do with that? What do you do with that anger energy? Right. So I kind of had to kill that snake with a long memory. Yeah. It's weird, eh? Yeah. And then the second takeaway is your body and your mind are super linked and we don't even think about it. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was just my quick interesting update.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but so, do you have anything interesting about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know, this is maybe where I've come from, or I thought stress did cause problems.
But we live in totally. But we live in a stress-filled society. Like,
yeah, that's why they
grind.
Yeah.
So that's what my thought process was like. Okay.
No, but it's been shown that stresses are not good. Like long term.
Totally. Yeah, right. Like
continuous
conditions.
Stress. Like if there's like, what do you call it? Like bursts of stress. Like that's kind of like in the wild, kind of like that.
Oh, that's a great example. So
it's different.
So I read this book a long time ago. It's called Evolve Your Brain by Joe Dispenza.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the first books that like blew my mind. It's about neuroplasticity. Mm-hmm. So like how your brain rewires itself, and that's how you get better. So there's like, oh, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can, because your brain's actually always recarving neural pathways to make it easier for you to accomplish something. Like when you like learn a skill, mm-hmm. like riding a bike. In the beginning, you didn't know how to do it, and then your brain carved that neural pathway, and it can be like 20 years and you still ride a bike because it's so ingrained now. Mm-hmm. And in that book, he was saying that if you look at a squirrel, right? A squirrel or animals in the wild, they spend 90% of their days in rest and digest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But only like 10% of that time in fight or flight, which is like run away from an animal. You need, and then when you're in that zone, your body's pumping like adrenaline, cortisol, like all the things. Basically, I liken it to being Super Saiyan. Mm-hmm. You go Super Saiyan so you can like people do it, right? They lift up the car, they like run super fast, from danger. But you can't be in that state for super long, right?
Yeah, no.
But right, because it starts. No, it's like going Kaioken, because in Dragon Ball Z, he can go Kaioken, so he basically pumps up his adrenaline. But if he stays in that state too long, his body deteriorates.
Right.
So it's like, that's the analogy right there.
Yeah.
You're going like Kaioken.
Right.
Yeah. And but the tricky thing is that stress, like looking at an email that comes in, is the exact same stress related feeling as like a tiger's chasing you, because your body can't differentiate between the tiger in the real life and the tiger in your head.
Right.
But you start like, but we don't have tigers chasing us, so we have other things like, oh no, my boss just emailed me.
Yeah.
And then you like go into fight or flight. Yeah.
And that's continuous.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so it really makes you think about like how we live, like how we've structured society in such a way that we live with so much stressors,
Mm-hmm. I don't know where I saw this, but it was like who've created the society, the ones who are like the go-getters, or like...
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Actually, so Gabor Mate, I just found out about this dude. He deals with like trauma. So he was saying that our entire society is built up off of people who are like highly traumatized, and like by highly traumatized, it's like you're worthless, so you need to go get it, and then like, oh, everyone's out to get you. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, you have to look out for yourself. Like basically the American dream is straight up built by traumatized people. There's no like, it's like me versus you.
Right.
I don't
know. I think it's like there's different types of people that are like what this world is more designed for then. Mm-hmm. And those are the ones who have like shaped society in a sense. That
wait, what do you mean?
I think it was from the Dr. K guy.
Okay, Dr. K.
The one on Twitch. Healthy Gamer.
Healthy Gamer, yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's different types of people. I can't remember the phraseology, but it was like those types of people have basically formed society.
Okay, yeah.
And everybody else is trying to fit into that thing, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
Thus causes problem for some people, for many people, or some people.
Right. Actually, I have a great example of this. So, our world is largely built off of type A personalities and extroverts. Yeah. So what do you do if you're not type A and you're an introvert?
Right. So exactly that's very much what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
That it doesn't fit for everybody. No. But those are the ones who have designed the society.
Exactly. And like if you think about this always pissed me off, like having to do presentations in school, because I was so introverted. Like I hate public speaking. So it's like, why are you forcing us to do something? Why are you forcing me to be something I'm not, you know? And then I saw these articles like more recently about how our society is largely introverted, but we have these extroverted things, that exercises that we force ourselves into.
Yeah. Well,
know?
generally it's the extroverted people that have
Built
shaped
Yeah,
society.
So
Right?
if you want to live in this society, it's like you have to be extroverted, and it's like,
Right.
oh man.
I did agree with that presentation thing, but it did change depending on what you talked about, though. That's what I felt like.
Yeah, I agree. Because you know what it is.
Exactly.
Wait.
Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, you know.
I meant
what it
like
is.
I know the topic well enough.
No. It's that is it. That is it. Yes, that's a part of it. So you only get anxious if you're not being yourself. So if you're 100, like, so right now we're not nervous to talk about any of this, right? So like, all right, let's say there was an auditorium room of like 1 million people listening to us do this podcast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be nervous because I'm like, we're just talking.
Yeah.
But it would be nervous if it's like, don't say this. Make sure you mention this. Don't talk about this though. If you say this is going to screw you over.
Right.
You know, that's when all nerves come in, because you're trying to fit into a box. Right. But the reason why you're like, oh, if I know the topic, it's like, because it's true to you. So you're just being yourself, just like us. Yeah. It's like, it's true to us. Like what we're saying right now, there's nothing, we're not trying to shape it in a way.
Right.
You know? Yeah. And that's why people get nervous.
I think it's changing in the sense that what I feel like with the introverted people, because a lot of them now with Twitch or like these live streams and stuff, it's been going off like crazy.
Yeah,
like
people
these
are being themselves,
and
right?
and exactly,
totally.
And it's creating its own niches.
Totally. Yeah,
and that's what's now changing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Actually, this relates very well to our next topic, which is UFC. So how does it relate? So if we were in that auditorium full of people, and we were having this conversation, we'd feel comfortable because we're like, okay, I'm just being myself. But then what if those people booed every time they were bored of what we were saying? We're going to start shaping. We're like, oh, I gotta perform now. Right.
Yeah.
And what we're noticing is this is I believe it's the third live UFC event where they brought back the audience. And in every single pay-per-view, somebody's broken a bone, like in a disturbing way.
Right.
Like yesterday, the dude broke the bone. Like I was showing the video, he broke his bone. The ref didn't know, and then he was just punching him, and his arm was flopping up and down because he couldn't control it. It was wrecked, you know. And like, I wonder how much of that was because now you're trying to perform. Now you're nervous. Now I can't tap in front of these people. Because like, why didn't you tap sooner?
I think didn't it look like he was trying to tap?
It looked like it, but it looked. But
I felt like it was.
But if it was a real tap, he would have kept tapping.
No, but I think it was like it's broken. I think the shock, the broken. I don't know if he could control, like understand.
Oh, you mean he was just like what is
because
going
his
on?
position was kind of weird, and he was really like trying to like.
It seemed like he was tapping.
But it also looked like a punch.
Yeah, totally.
But it wasn't like fast enough for a tap.
Maybe he was like confused.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I wonder if the pain,
maybe
caused like a you're normally tapping just before you think it's gonna break, right?
But it already broke.
But it already broke.
Okay,
it's like
broke.
I wonder what that like the shock
True
of it would have been like.
Yeah, because you remember like the last one when Chris Weidman did the kick, and then his leg snapped in half.
Yeah.
Like there you go again. Like I know that was a terrible one, but you know what I'm saying? It's like the crowd's definitely influencing.
Well, I think that's what I think they do a lot.
Or is this a reticular activating system going off where we're noticing the breaks? But honestly, I watched so many UFCs. Nothing has been more horrific than the past three,
right?
And all three were with crowds.
Right.
I don't count the fight nights.
I wonder because it's been a year that. Did they fight when there weren't any crowds? Did any of these people? They fought during the time,
but they were all controlled. It was like
no, I understand that. Yeah, I think you're more.
But the crowd really adds an energy, you know.
I think it does.
Even yesterday, there's these two people fighting. They were fighting really well, but then the crowd was booing. And then even Joe Rogan's like, "What a bunch of savages! Why they're booing right now?" Because all they want to see was blood, right? So it's like, okay, now we're deviating away from. I actually really liked UFC when there was no crowd.
You know what? I think thinking about the crowd, it's like. Yeah, especially in UFC. I mean, I think that's all that you're there for, right?
Yeah.
You want to see.
I mean,
blood,
even when you
in a
and I
sense.
went, remember we were like, "What is this like It like actually felt like cockfighting because like remember the guy in front of us was like, give him that 2-piece and a soda.
Right.
The guy that was next
No,
to us,
no,
and
no,
you're like, you don't
right,
even know what
right.
you're talking about, bro.
No, no,
Like,
no. I think things like UFC is like that because I was thinking of like if it like hockey or like basketball, you're more cheering for your team
right. Oh, I see.
versus like actually like
Unless you're like,
because in that
blood,
stuff
blood.
you're not really a team for anybody. You just want to see
violence,
some blood and gore, right? So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, true. It's almost like it's weird because like without the crowd, it seems more like a science. Like as I was watching it, I was like, okay, what are they doing here? But then with the crowd back, it's like it just seems barbaric.
I think it does. At
'Cause
least for
sometimes
the
the crowds are
fighters, it
dumb.
becomes different.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, like sometimes the crowd just like seems really dumb. It's like, why are you booing at this part that's obviously really important? But it's because they're like grappling,
Right.
and they're like, no, we want to see you guys stand and bang. Like, okay, but
Well, because when they're grappling, nothing.
people doesn't know. People
It's
don't
boring.
know.
Like what you're looking at, you know.
I
Like,
guess,
it
but, like-
doesn't mean any. Like it doesn't seem like until they get into the headlock or like.
Totally,
If you're
yeah,
just lying on the guy and you're like moving, this is part
Right.
is slow, right? And you saw that happen a lot yesterday.
But it's so important though. Like that's how you get into positions. So
of
it's
course,
like
it's
how-
important, but that's not. I don't know if majority of them even
No, they
do
don't.
MMA.
Yeah,
right?
no,
They just
exactly.
watch it, so they just want to see, more of the.
They were saying this actually. A lot of like fans of UFC, they're broken up into either you just want gore or you're looking at the science of it. You know, and like I prefer the science, so it's
I just
weird
don't think
for me.
that that's not majority.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they said too. Like they said,
okay.
the
Yeah.
majority is not that.
No.
Yeah, crazy.
Like what was it? Justin Bieber was there. Like what? I don't know. Like,
And we started focusing on Justin Bieber.
and he looks so
Like,
bored.
I know you're like, oh, he looks bored right now. But it's a really important part, but you look bored. Yeah.
But that's probably the crowd, right? It's like they're
But
grappling.
he's like the crowd. Yeah, he's like, he doesn't get this part. So he's like, oh, why are you guys not punching? Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. And actually this ties into the next topic, which is Mayweather versus Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And we didn't even watch that one.
No.
That's when we were just like, yeah, that's also it was on a Sunday. I might have watched it if it was on a Saturday. I don't know why why they put it on Sunday.
I don't know. No idea why.
Yeah, it's like, why would you? That's random. But yeah, so apparently that one was like a huge, like it wasn't that great. It went to a draw.
But there was already like set rules. There's no winner.
Yeah, no winner and stuff like that. And it was like,
So the only way to win technically would have been a knockout. Right?
yeah.
So-
And like, I feel at this point these spectacles are kind of almost like making a mockery. Like I sent the video, like one of the clips to my sister, and she's like, they're just ruining boxing, eh? Like, because it's like, yeah, we used to watch because like these amazing skilled fighters, but now, this one celebrity match made more money than, but one thing, I watched this the next day, Floyd Mayweather posted this, news anchor was saying that people are ripping on Floyd Mayweather, but we all forget that what's his name, Muhammad Ali did exhibition matches. Mike Tyson did exhibition matches. It's not new to the sport of boxing,
Right.
for this thing to happen. But we just hate Floyd Mayweather.
No, I think, but I think those exhibition matches there were not like YouTubers.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. But there were exhibition matches in the past, though.
Right,
That's what he's
right.
trying to
But
say.
it'd be more with other boxers, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Like who? I don't know.
Like Mike Tyson fought this guy, like I forget his name, but like this like big fat dude he fought, and I think that was more. I don't think he was a boxer, or maybe he was. Yeah, I guess they did fight other boxers. It wasn't like maybe I need to look into that.
Yeah,
don't think
I
it's
wonder
like-
because it's like it's different now because they're just YouTubers who are.
And football stars. There was a football star who fought on that same card.
Okay.
He like played football,
Right,
and then he
right.
fought.
Right. Well, these are like. I guess I can give leeway to the football because it's like a sport. He's in a sport.
Yeah,
you
but
know
it's
what I
like
mean?
YouTubers, like
It's a
so
YouTuber.
random. But what I find weird about this whole thing, but I guess it's also partially a marketing thing, is like they're pinning themselves in the category of being fighters. Like Jake Paul's like, there's that fighter life, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, but you don't really.
Well,
like,
it started.
maybe, but-
Yeah, it's interesting what's been happening with that, because it was just YouTubers versus YouTubers.
Yeah, true. Yeah, KSI and
Yeah, and Logan Paul.
Yeah,
And then so, I guess the Pauls figured out a way to now shift it to actual other people
yeah, totally.
to make more money.
Yeah,
They're
totally.
kind of smart with that, I would say. I mean, it's working. So
And there's a new thing, a controversy with the UFC now because UFC stars, they don't make that much money, like
Right.
50K, something like that, around that. And even lower if you're not even a star, you get like $2,000, something like that,
Right.
just to fight. So what they were saying as boxers, like, pay your top celebrities correctly. Like, what if Floyd Mayweather made $100 million from that fight?
right.
So where's the $100 million for the UFC fighter?
Right. And what is the audience view count, like between boxing and
Boxing's definitely still bigger.
right?
It's still bigger because it's been here for a while. So you're getting like the old heads,
Yeah.
some of the new heads, but the newer ones are shifting towards UFC. But UFC's only been here for like what? Since 93. So however long that is.
Right. I wonder if it's like something to do with that. Just the audience count isn't, or the view
Yeah,
count
I
of
think
it
so
is
too.
much less
Yeah.
than boxing.
And also, well, if you actually break down the finances of it, UFC is also a public company, and it's only one.
Okay.
It's only one promotion, right? Whereas
Right.
boxing, you have multiple promotions, and then the fighters are free agents to fight at whatever promotion they want. So they're bidding for the fighter.
Okay, so that causes more money
Yeah. So
to happen.
I forgot what it is. When I was with Carlos Newton, he was a big proponent of this, and he would talk about it all the time. He was like doing this lawsuit. It's public, so it's not like I'm like revealing anything here. But he was saying how it's the Ali Act. So he was fighting to make it that the promoter can't also own the fighter. Because that's what limits your pay. Because if it's like, oh, it's the world title, I could pay you whatever I want because you're fighting for my title. But if you have a bunch of independent, so the Ali Act is that promoters have to be separate from boxers. So all these promoters are trying to like bid for the fighter to fight on their card. But that's not how it is at like MMA.
Right.
That's why you have like somebody from Bellator is signed for Bellator. They can't just shift to UFC.
Yeah.
But in boxing, you can. If you're fighting at Bellator, you can go to UFC after because the pay is higher.
I wonder if that will happen. That's something.
Yeah, they won actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not fully won, but
Right.
it's so random. Like I hadn't spoken to him in like 2 years, and then he like texted me a link that his lawsuit like passed in one place. I was like, oh, congratulations, because he's still fighting the fight. You know, him and a bunch of other old school like UFC fighters. Because they all got paid like jack. They got nothing.
Right.
But it's weird because you see like he was very like against UFC because they owned his image. And,
Right.
Like, you know, like when you sign it, it's like we own your likeness, your name, everything.
Yeah.
And he gets nothing.
That causes a problem.
Yeah. That's why he was pissed. And like he made like I don't know, eight grand, and he was the world champion.
Right.
Yeah. So
Doesn't seem right.
yeah, exactly. So, anyways, yeah. That all being said, let's jump into tech.
All right.
So what was big this week was WWDC. You want to go that or Tesla first?
I'll do the Tesla because it's just a very quick thing.
Okay, cool.
Well, basically, we knew. Well, they reveal a lot of the stuff all around the website about the new Model S Plaid,
Okay.
and they did the delivery event. That was the presentation, basically, and what are all the things that I guess they didn't reveal everything on the website, right? So, just that they've made it the Plaid edition, like super fast. There's no car that goes this fast.
Okay.
About 0 to 60 miles per hour, and
60 miles per hour is 100 kilometers per hour. Just so people know.
Yeah,
like
it's
about
close
100.
to. It's a bit.
But like we're like 99, something like that. No, because I did this because I was like searching the calculation before. It's like 103, or it's like within a 5 kilometer range. I know it's not specific.
It's not 1-to-1, but
It's not
yeah.
1-to-1, yeah. But it's about 100 kilometers for us Canadians out here.
Yeah, it's just about, yeah. So 0 to 60 in, it said 1.99 or like 2 seconds. And there's no car.
No, there's no car.
No car. Well, there is a car at 2 seconds or just above 2 seconds, but it's like a $3 million car.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
But so they made a car like this, just straight up all electric, and it has about over 600 kilometers of range. And it keeps at that level of horsepower throughout the whole thing.
Wow.
All of your battery range or something.
You know what's really funny about this? Like, so when Fast and Furious came out and then we were playing like Need for Speed, I was so deep into cars, so I was like researching like top speeds because like you gotta up your car.
Okay.
And they always hit like 3 to 4 seconds, you know, like 2.5.
Okay.
Like regular like souped up cars. 2.5 to like 4 maybe. And I remember when you said like 1.99, I was shocked. I was like, wait, what? That's like so fast, because I'd never seen that top, like that acceleration before. But what's weird is, again, maybe it's that reticular activating system, but in the trailer for the new Fast and Furious, they showed a rocket car, and I'm pretty sure he said the top speed was like 1 point something.
Okay.
So I was like, so why don't you just get a Tesla, bro? You know what I mean? It's so weird. We were saying with the Fast and Furious series, how come they never show Teslas? Because those Teslas destroy all cars. Like you don't even need any of these like souped up cars.
Well, there's a bit more nuance.
I mean, I guess like
here
battery
in the
life,
sense,
sure.
Right? Acceleration wise, they are super fast.
The Teslas.
Yeah. Now holding that speed.
Oh, they're not?
Would be different.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is the new one holds that speed.
Oh, okay.
This current one, they did some new battery and everything, so it holds that 1,000 horse. I think it was 1,000 horsepower, something like that.
Okay.
It holds that speed all the way through to your top.
Right.
To your top speed.
Okay. Right.
From 0 to whatever they're like the.
So the Tesla might win in a straightaway, but it might not.
Yeah,
win.
it's a 100-meter dash. It'll probably win in a 100-meter dash, but it's like.
But in those movies, they're like going.
Yeah, if you're going for a long distance, it will reduce your horsepower.
Right.
The more top speed you're at.
Interesting. Okay, so
there's
a reason.
That's why
they
there's ways to really understand this. Top speed wise, they're no one is faster than them. But with the new one, now they've beaten everybody.
Okay.
With this one, it's done. It's
interesting. So now what do you do? Now what do you do for those movie series? But that's probably why they're ending at 10. I heard they're ending at 10.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, they gotta put at least a Tesla in the 10. If they don't,
could you imagine?
I didn't see the 9, so I don't know if there's anyone in there, but they gotta put it in there. Come on,
they have to. Yeah.
Like the Roadster, like the way that the Roadster looks like.
Yeah.
You gotta add that in there.
Yeah, it looks so futuristic, but there's no shifting. So
I know there's no shifting, but
that was a big part.
But there should be a cool way to do it without the shifting, like making fun of the fact that you have to shift. I don't know, just as a joke. Like you don't have to necessarily have it all the way through. Or like you see someone, like just you race someone that has an electric.
Right.
Just a quick scene. I don't know, like something cool with the electric. They got to do that.
True, they should do that as the 10, or unless they go to space, like the thing I'm hearing.
Well, if you're going to space, you need an electric. So
true, you do need electric. Yeah, the payload for bringing gas with you is too much.
Yeah,
yeah. Just use solar power, bro. It's weird to think about when you watch the first Fast and the Furious, how far it's come from there.
Yeah.
I loved Fast and Furious 1. Number 2 is probably my favorite. But nobody likes that one because was 2 Tokyo Drift? No, 2 was the buddy one. 3 was Tokyo Drift. Okay, good. Yeah. So number 2 is probably my favorite because I really like the dynamic between like Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson. But it's weird to watch it now, like those first few ones, and then you watch the recent one, you're like, what happened? Like, you guys went so ridiculous.
Well, it became a franchise. It became a fun movie. Like, it was serious in the beginning.
It was serious,
a cop movie, right? Undercover cop. That's what the main
Exactly,
thing was.
Undercover cop.
Yeah, that was a big shock in the first movie.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I guess that was a trilogy that kind of ended, right?
Yeah,
so then it became just a fun, like, movie.
Yeah,
like, just to be ridiculously fun. That's all it was.
Yeah,
totally. It's kind of like the Assassin's Creed. It's like you got the first 3 done.
True, because
and then the rest is just
too.
Let's just have fun with this world.
The world. Yeah, totally.
And that's kind of
you're right. Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's hugely successful. There was a lot of. I remember some of those ones, like the jaw drop moments. It's like, it was like it's super fun.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. And the new one with like Hobbs and Shaw, the spinoff, I was rewatching that. I'm like, this movie is brilliant. I remember watching the theaters and I was like, this is so good. But I was like, but like time, it's like, does it stand the test of time?
Right.
I went back to it, still excellent. But the cast was really pissed about that though, because like Fast and Furious should stay Fast and Furious, but then they did like Hobbs and Shaw, so it had nothing to do with those other characters, and it's like you're just taking our name.
Well, I mean,
like animosity.
Sure, I guess, but I mean, we're doing 10 movies, guys.
I know, 10 movies. Come on, bro. Like,
this is the one movie.
What are we doing? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Actually, fun fact.
I mean, I think it's more better to do that because it's like if they do make more Hobbs and Shaw or something, it's like they could feature you in it. If you know what I mean, like totally, I don't understand
for sure. And Hobbs and Shaw is more about like spy related. It's more accurate to the world that Fast and Furious is going to.
Right.
In the beginning it was like very realistic, but Hobbs and Shaw is over the top, and it started as over the top, so you can stay in that world. But it's weird to watch the progression of Fast 1 to like Fast 9, and you're like, this is an odd progression.
Right.
Yeah, but I was gonna say it's funny because speaking of the realism of Fast and Furious, that's actually how I learned how to do manual, like watching that movie.
Right.
Because I was so obsessed with like my dad had a manual car and I didn't understand like the pedal how it worked, but like watching it in that movie, like it's funny because people say you can't learn anything from like video games and movies and stuff like that, but it's like you totally can.
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah. Anyway, so
the model, that's the Model S Plaid that's officially released now. And I mean, it's you also have the safest car.
Right.
And you got the fastest car.
That was the thing that sold me with the Tesla, because my parents, my whole family, they buy Volvos, only Volvos, because they're like, it's the safest car. Right. Because it just like the way it's built, and like it has like drop down. If the side mirror breaks, it'll drop down like a shield so that it protects you. Like Volvos are known to be super safe. But now I'm trying to sell them on the Tesla because I'm like, you want to talk safety? Like, this is a single body frame, so it's like protecting you.
Well, if you look at like the number, like there's like ratings they give for cars.
Okay, I didn't know that.
For safety.
Oh, that's cool.
Ratings.
Yeah.
I forgot the abbreviation that they used, the one that he showed, but it's like the top 5 cars for Tesla Model S's, right? At least because they were specifically talking about Model S. So
okay,
but the Teslas are the one on the top.
They're all the top.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously, because the way they're built is like
right. Yeah, they can, because there's no need to worry about an engine. You can build more. This is how I was remember from a long time ago. It was like they were able to build more frames in a sense to handle impact.
Yeah, exactly. Because like with cars now, it can't be one solid frame because you have to have like the engine, which is a separate piece, and like all like there's so many components to it. There's so many components to a car, a classic car, that you just can't make it one solid piece. Like, isn't the battery a big part of why it's one solid piece as well?
Well, the battery's just a flat bed of it, right?
Right.
That's the bottom. That's where the battery's at, and everything else is...
Which is solid, right? But, like, then you have to think about classic cars where it's like you have pipes that are going through and, like... Pipes to get the gasoline into the
and then
engine
the exhaust and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
So it can't be one solid piece because it has to... You have to put stuff together.
Right. Yeah, there's not much in it in that sense.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something, but now I forgot. But like, yeah, Model S is up, and
How much is it though?
$2 billion in America, huh?
$2 billion.
No, well, I think it's in American. It was over 100,000, maybe.
Yeah, okay, that's a lot of money. So basically, you're like
Yeah, but I mean, like,
Ferraris and
it's
stuff.
a lot of money, but that I'm saying, like, comparatively, something that fast is like $3 million or something.
Right. But you're in the zone of like Ferraris and like Bugatti. No, not Bugattis. Those are millions.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the Bugatti would be the fastest.
Right.
But you're not 2 million.
You're in that speed, but you're in the price range of like a Ferrari or something.
I don't think Ferrari's 200,000
or
or 100,000. I don't think so.
Really? Ferrari?
Maybe they might have cars in that. I don't think so.
Yeah. No,
well, I don't think so.
Like they're a high end car, but
it's a high end car.
They're not $1 million Ferraris.
I have no idea. It's not cars I'm looking into.
Okay. Yeah. No, they're definitely not million. Like, yeah, no.
Maybe 500.
I'm sure you can get $1 million car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so curious right now. Hold on, I'm just gonna pull that up. Like, how much is a Ferrari? I'm pretty sure it's like in the $100,000 range.
Or cheapest Ferrari? Is that what we gotta look up?
Or just like, yeah, Google Ferrari price. Yeah, I said that because I'm like, that's a top tier car, but it's not so ridiculous in price.
Okay, so they range from 246,000. This is Canadian. To 600,000.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. Because like the reason why I said 200, because you said 100 is for the American price. So if we convert that to Canadian, it's like about 200.
Yeah. Let's see. Tesla Model S Plaid price.
So basically, you get a Bugatti for the price of a Ferrari.
I don't know if this is the Plaid version. I have to go to their actual website. It doesn't show up on
Google. But all right, but yeah, Elon's really trying to make everything accessible, with its like $35,000 Tesla model, but the Tesla's already like,
is this Canadian? Oh,
levels beyond.
Oh, Plaid. Okay, Plaid is 169,000.
Yeah, okay.
Canadian.
Okay, so you get a Bugatti for less than the price of a Ferrari.
All right.
That's cool.
Yeah, and a 628 kilometer range.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Anything else about the Tesla? Did he do any cool stunts like he did with the Cybertruck when he threw the steel ball and it shattered the window?
Nothing stunt wise, but the way he entered in was driving it.
Oh, that's cool.
He did the 2-second
thing.
Oh, he went around the track and then came onto the stage, drove on top of
that's cool.
the stage. Yeah,
nice.
Then he was like saying all the stuff, and then what they did, their science stuff.
Yeah.
What they, something to do with carbon fiber or some stuff. I don't know.
Like how they made it.
Yeah, basically, how they made it. Yeah, so it's like, okay, cool. Like,
cool. And it's out now.
You could have ordered it before. The delivery started that day. Nice. So they gave it to the first 25. Cool. And it'll continuously go more and more.
Nice.
As long as the chips keep coming, because I just read somewhere where it's the pandemic is affecting chip supply.
Well, chip supply for like everything. That's why the PS5 is still.
Yeah, I mean it's for everything. The chip is for everything. The phones, up to the cars. Everything. It'll affect everyone's supply. It seems like.
Yeah, that's weird. That's so odd to think that the PS5 has been out for a year and it's still.
Oh, talk about PS5. They have right. So this is the Tesla Model S with the PS5 level graphics in it.
Oh, that's cool.
He said it, PS5 level graphics or something like that.
Within the
so you can play, like they showed off someone playing Cyberpunk.
Oh, that's cool. Well, that's a bad example because Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but it was just
a broken game.
Yeah, but it was to be able to run a high performance game.
Yeah. It's within a car.
Within a
car. Impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're basically driving. I think we said this in the Tesla podcast, but like the we're it's basically like an iPhone. You're driving an iPhone now. You know, if you've ever driven a Tesla, Vish got a Tesla, and like going inside, it's very futuristic. It almost seems like so archaic. I always say this, it's like archaic to see other cars now. Just like, what are we doing?
He said that.
Elon said that?
He said it. It's like you're driving the future. Like everything else looks like in the past.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm not even driving anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it's not like autopilot when people are like, oh, I'm not driving. It's like, it's not like what do you call that? Cruise control. It's not like cruise control. It's like this thing is like making calculations, adjusting for speed. You could switch lanes too, right? You just like signal and then it'll switch lanes for you.
Yeah.
It's
with
not
the
like cruise
FSD,
control.
Yeah. There's two versions that they sell it with, FSD and autopilot, right? So I had the FSD for the first 3 months. They gave it for free, right? That's something Elon just tweeted that, so I was like, because I got the car.
What is FSD?
Full self-driving. So that's what I mean, like lane changing. It'll park for you.
What?
There was more things to it.
That's crazy.
Oh,
It'll
and the summoning
park for
feature.
you.
And the summoning feature, or someone would, like, for instance, if it's raining, someone was showing that off, or it was like, it was raining, so they got the car from the parking lot to come to where they were at.
That's cool.
So that's the summoning. Nobody was in the car, right? So it's just...
That reminds me of Batman, the first movie with Michael Keaton. Remember, he's like, he like goes like car, and then it like drives up to him.
Yeah.
And we're in that future now. Only Batman had that technology back in the day, but now it's like, if you can afford the $35K American, then you can get it. Yeah, it's crazy because it's like you're not. It's all software driven, right? So as they build more updates into the software, your car's automatically going to get those features too, because it's like an iOS on your phone, right? But if you buy, see, this is the crazy thing. It's like so archaic because like if you buy like a 2020 Toyota, right? You only have that 2020 Toyota. Like all the features are locked in. But with a Tesla, it's like you have that operating system, but you don't know what next year's operating system could be. You know, they'll make like changes to it. Like you were saying, that they now updated the feature, so they film you in the backseat, or they film you driving, right? The Tesla, to make sure if you're doing autopilot.
Yeah. When you're doing autopilot.
And I was like, oh, dude, like, do they have to do that for all the new cars? And you're like, no, the camera was already built in, but they just didn't create that
feature yet.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what other things are to come?
And you can, I know, like, you can change even the operating system, not operating system, the motherboard or something. You can change the motherboard that's in there too.
Oh, really? It's like updating like a computer.
Updating the computer basically.
Yeah. Wow. Sounds like an ad for Tesla. But for real though, I think they're the craziest car out there.
Yeah, I would say that. I don't think I've driven anything that, I never liked the driving aspect.
What do you mean, like driving?
Just driving in general.
Oh.
There's a lot of stress of looking at other cars.
That's true. You don't like driving. Yeah, you don't. Like, like looking back at our like history, it's like, yeah, you don't like driving. So it's nice now that you have this.
You have to drive.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, like, I love driving. So this is going to be a sad day when they shift to everything's autopilot.
Well, it'll mitigate the amount of accidents that we get, right?
Yeah, true. Fair. Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying how, like, when the cars came out, nobody wanted to buy a horse anymore. And the people that still want to ride horses, like to this day, now we have like tracks. Like you go to a horse stable if you want to ride a horse. Yeah. So in the future, I'm going to be the guy going to like the driving range to like drive. It's like,
this is how it used to be like.
Yeah, I know, right? And then once you're done driving, you just jump in your autopilot car and then takes you to the next location.
Right. But I feel like it's kind of like the mix of horse and car, right? Like, I mean, like, because the horse could have driven.
Oh yeah, because the horse chooses. I mean, not chooses. It's like you could fall asleep on the horse, and the horse will walk you.
You're not going to crash into something.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, crazy future. All right, so WWDC.
So WWDC is Worldwide Developers Conference that Apple does.
All right, I'm actually really excited about this topic because we're in the future, like straight up.
Yeah. I mean, they showed off a ton of features that I think you wrote down a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, totally. So let's go over SharePlay.
Okay.
So SharePlay basically is if you're FaceTiming someone, you can pull up a video and then you can share it, and then you're both watching it via FaceTime. So it's almost like sharing a screen when you do like Zoom, or you do like Google Hangouts, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some of these things like Disney has already built in, like a group watch.
Yeah.
Like there's these sort of things that it's running seamlessly with the FaceTime to do it with like in face visuals, right? Like face to face kind of thing, but not face to face.
Okay.
And they've opened it up, the API, to other ones to work with too, like Disney.
API is
like the software.
Okay. Yeah.
To make it run. Like they've built the API in the sense that this is the framework that it works in. You just got to plug this into your thing and then make it.
Okay. Yeah. Like, so basically it's like a bit of code that allows you to share what you're watching with everyone.
Yeah.
So the thing that Apple's doing now is that it doesn't have to be API related. Like, it doesn't have to be restricted to that one software. Like, whatever you're watching, you can all watch at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like before, so basically what you were saying was that certain apps would restrict shareability, but now Apple's doing away with that, and anything you all want to watch, you can watch at the same time. Yeah. But that's why I was saying it's like share my screen, like for Zoom and stuff, because I can pull up like share my screen and then we can all watch a movie together.
Yeah, but there's a lag in that one, right?
Maybe I don't know.
Like the share my screen isn't as the same as like you're not sharing. It's like they'll have their own thing loaded up as well. It runs at the same speed, but the rate that they're getting, the download rate, is different. It's like sharing screen is very different.
So I know from experience, because we did this yesterday. We watched a YouTube video. We did this like group Google call, and then Wob was playing this like video that he made, and we could all watch it at the same time.
Right.
So I don't think there's a lag on that one, but it's like cumbersome because then we have to go to like a Google meeting and like you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not as easily integrated as like we're just on FaceTime and then I just flip over.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've tried the Disney group watch thing, and it loads up into like.
It's like an awkward load. Like it's
no. It's the same thing. Everyone, it starts everyone at the same spot, and if someone pauses it, anyone can pause it.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. So it's more about the control versus the lag, because there was no real lag on when we were watching it, but they had
because it's coming from you're watching theirs, right?
Their screen, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, but you have no control over that screen.
Yeah. So this new thing is like, it's almost like we're all in person and we can control the controller.
Yeah, as if you're in the same room.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it.
So basically, it went one step further from share my screen to you can control what we're all watching as well.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's SharePlay.
I like that SharePlay idea because, you know, like in the future, like if COVID happened, I guess maybe it was inspired by COVID, but you know, we can all just like watch the same thing, you know.
Right.
And like it can basically, it's like it's prepping you for, I don't know, future pandemics or even more isolation in the, you know, or like let's say your family lives in a different country.
Yeah.
You
that
kind of thing.
I think it was going to go in that direction. Maybe not as soon.
Right.
But it would have gone in that direction. Just happened to go faster just because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because they were already built in. Disney already had that group watch built in.
But like
Prime had the watch party.
With Apple doing it, it's not really okay. So I think
the thing with Apple doing it is that you don't have to go to the specific app and run it.
Exactly.
You can go to everyone's on the same FaceTime thing, and you're just making
all the apps are working the transition together. More seamless.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it. Yeah. It's not really about the functionality, because there are workarounds, like I was saying, like the Google thing, the SharePlay, all that stuff. But what Apple's really focusing on is like convenience. Let's just make it as easy as possible. That's always been their mantra, though. Like, easy as possible for you to get your stuff done.
Yeah. They're not necessarily there to be the first. They're there to be the
best.
To get it right and be the best. Yeah.
So the next one is live text. This one's pretty crazy. So basically, if you take a photo of something, it'll convert that image, the text on that image, to text on your phone. And I get the technology because it's like we did that using CAPTCHA. So like, you know, when you like have to answer, is this like spell out the letters, right? Like a security code. thing. Like if you ever do something online and it's like log in, but then tell us what these characters are. So they're using that algorithm that's being perfected daily by people who like fill out that form. Yeah. And now it's come to the ability to just like look at an image and then convert that straight to text. I like this idea because like it makes again, it's just convenience, simplicity, convenience, all that. But it does kind of freak me out because it said it can like read all of your old images. It's what they said is like, oh, it's great for your old images too. And I was like, ooh, now you're like looking everything on my phone, you know?
Right.
It's great for terrorists though, like catching those people.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But yeah.
I think I like that. It's not a new thing also.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Again, how it's implemented is a new thing. To be able to work with all your other photos too.
Again, convenience.
Yeah.
Like Apple's all about.
Not like it was there with Google. Again, Google does so many things. It's just like not, it's not necessarily seamless because you have to kind of open up an app.
Yeah, totally.
And then run it like that.
For sure.
This was like built into the camera.
Right. Yeah.
Already there to be used now or even after.
Right. But so actually I think we've decoded it. Like Apple really does just focus on convenience. Yeah, you're right. It's like it's all not new. But like there's ways to do it, but like those ways are very like you have to be very tech savvy. Yeah, that's
yeah.
But they're opening it to the market so that's like you don't have to be tech savvy. Here, just click this button, you got it.
Right.
Yeah. Then the next thing is keys for your wallet and your Apple ID. So basically what this is what I was hoping for a while. So we have like RFID readers, like key fobs to get into our apartment or to the basement. Or you have key fobs at work, all that stuff. You can now, I was wondering when this was going to come in, but you can now trigger that on your phone. So you don't even need those fobs anymore. You can like build them in into your phone. Save it just like you save credit cards. Yeah. This works for like, they were saying it's like great for if you go like to your job, you know?
Yeah, even like because I have a key card, right? So if I can implement that key card onto my phone.
Yeah.
And I don't have to pull out the key card. I'm always having my phone on my hands anyway. So
basically it's like, let's take everything away except for your phone. That's their aim.
Yeah, that's what I've been hoping for.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah, totally.
I mean, I'm the one, I use Apple Pay all the time, so it's like
you were the first. I remember like we would go to the theaters, and I was like, "What is this guy doing? He just paid with their phone."
Yeah, I mean that was the greatest convenience of it all, right? So it's
now,
like,
could you imagine you like leave the apartment, you don't even need you don't need keys anymore,
right?
Like there are those locks.
There's already there, yeah.
But there are locks that are like digital locks.
Yeah.
So you don't even need to like put a physical key.
No, yeah, and you can always check in on the app or whatever to see if you locked it or not.
Yeah, actually my sister's, you have it too for your Tesla, but my sister's Volvo does that as well. It's like, it'll alert her and say like, if it's been like 10 minutes or something without it being locked, it's like, you know, your car doors are unlocked. And then she just like pushes the lock and then it locks the doors. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it should just lock on its own.
No, because maybe you want it to be unlocked. Like if you're at the beach and you're going to go back and forth.
Right, yeah. You know, it does that if you've hit the unlock.
What do you mean?
If like for me on the Tesla, I think it's like if I hit the unlock button on the app.
Right.
It'll be for some time. And then it'll lock again because you weren't there.
But it's
you didn't show up.
Oh, I
instance.
see. So it's more like safety related on yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. No, but like I could see why you'd want to keep it unlocked. Like if you're at the beach and like you're right in front of your car or something, and you just want to go in and out, you know.
Well, if you're right in front of your car, it'll just be unlocked in a sense, right? Because your phone is the key.
Not for my sister's.
Yeah, I'm
it's
saying
not on.
right.
Like your Tesla's
Right,
phone.
right.
Your
Yeah,
Tesla's key is the phone.
Yeah.
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 But so, yeah, that's crazy, man. Like we're entering into this weird phone only space. And imagine if it's just like instead of a phone, you have a microchip in your arm.
Yeah, that's what.
That
Well,
would be
yeah.
so crazy.
That'll be there. Just some time to go for that one.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So then the other thing about the Apple ID for your phone, which I think is really cool. Again, I'd want this feature, but it does seem kind of freaky. But they show you, like if you're at the TSA, like like you can have your driver's license on your phone now. So instead of carrying even your driver's license or your ID or your passport, it's all on your phone.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that one, but again, that's kind of freaky because I could see negative implications, just like the live text. You know, it's reading all your stuff, so it's marketing more specifically to you if it goes there.
But I think that's the thing that they were focusing on. Even with all that there, they
Focus on privacy.
honed back on privacy.
Yeah. But they have to focus on privacy because they're doing a lot of private related things to you. Like they're getting all of your ID information, your key information.
Yeah.
Like if you get hacked, you're screwed.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. But that's the thing that's why they focused. They were already focusing on privacy. I think this was where they were headed to.
But I
Because if
think
they're
they
going in
need-
this direction, you need to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. If you want convenience, you need ultra security. Yeah.
And they focused even more on it in this WWDC presentation with like even going to websites. They've become like a VPN.
Right.
Where it's relaying. They use the word relay. I guess it's like showing like you're bouncing off something else. Like you're not really.
So like
you're
usually
anonymous.
So usually when you visit a website, if you don't know this, if you visit a website, it's tracking your router's IP, and then it'll know where you're going. Like it'll create all that data about you. Yeah. But what a VPN does is it creates a fake IP address, so it doesn't really know who this belongs to, who this data belongs to. Yeah. It's almost like a private browser. Like not really, but it's almost like you're opening a private browser, so none of your data gets saved, and then they.
But even in the private browser, it's more like it's not getting saved on your computer, but they still know where you're going.
Yeah, because it's through the IP. Yeah. But now it's like imagine a private browser for your Wi-Fi. That's essentially what they're doing. Yeah.
Basically a VPN.
That's what they've done. I mean, like, what if people don't know what a VPN is?
Right.
It's like,
no, I understand. Yeah. But like, they've basically made a VPN.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Yeah, but slippery slope though, because I wonder, like we were talking about COVID ID cards. Now it's like, okay, show me your COVID ID card, and then people like pull it up on their phones and stuff to get into places.
Or it's still going to take years to even get this to be normalized.
But like
right?
You know, it's where we're headed. Or like one of the fears is like job hiring, right? If you have like a terminal disease, and then you don't want people to know, but then they find out, like if you get hacked. Or if they make that data more ubiquitous, then they might not hire you if they're like, oh, you have this disease or whatever.
Seems like it's more open now than, you know what I mean? Like they can easily find you on Facebook, for instance.
But they won't know about your like.
Unless you posted about it.
Oh yeah, well, why'd you post about it? You're being dumb. But yeah, like your whole medical history, like, yeah. Because that goes against standards of practice for like hiring people.
Yeah.
Like HR.
Again, that's why they're focusing on privacy, especially with if it's anything to do with health.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Like one thing that you need to do.
Yeah. It's like that. What was that? Westworld.
Yeah.
If you've ever watched Westworld, if you get into season 3, I think it is, they find out that there's a giant computer that has everyone's data, and then they're like, it's not really like determinism, but they're putting people in specific categories, and then they're not allowing certain people to do certain things. Like it's like there was the character who's like, how come I could never get hired for a job? And then they find out that the giant computer's telling all these like businesses like, this guy's a bad hire,
Right.
you know? So it's like your destiny is kind of like fixed now. That is one of the fears, like too much data. It's like,
Yep.
it's like we're going to be controlled by something other than ourselves. But that's why UBI is important. Yeah.
That's why a lot of it is, well, the way that you do it is more on the phone itself, right? A lot of the information that's stored is on
This
the
is for
phone.
Apple, though.
On
This is
that,
for Apple. Right, but this is why I'm
It's not true for other ones.
That's what I'm saying. So like that's why I'm a huge Apple fanboy. Like they've really created an ecosystem that is both safe and brilliant and easy to use. Anybody with a Samsung phone, you really just got to shift over. Like I don't understand why you're doing that. It's like people who run Linux on their freaking desktop. Like, why are you doing that? Are you a heavy coder, bro? Like, just trying to be alternative.
I mean, they're just having fun with the old ways, right?
I guess, but like, let me see Samsung do this level of security. I highly doubt it. Anyways, so next one is AR maps. I've been waiting for this one for a while. I've been saying this too, like if you can create, like I said this a long time ago, but if you can create a windshield that shows you on the windshield where to drive to next, that would be the future. So basically, like as you're driving, you see on your windshield through augmented reality that there's an arrow on the ground and you're just following the arrow. So they haven't done that yet, but they've done that through the phone. So they haven't created a windshield that can do that. But what she was showing with AR maps is like you pull your phone out and then you scan the area, and then on your phone it shows you like an arrow that's like turn this way, go down this street.
Right.
You know, if you're lost in your she's saying like
you got out of the subway, you don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
which is the street I need to take. Right?
And even still, like using, because like people are like, oh, but that's what maps are for. Maps can be very confusing because you have to look at it like bird's eye view.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, oh, which direction? But now they made it even more simple. You just pull out your phone, and then your phone, like, it's almost like you're taking a photo, like that screen where you can see the outside world.
Yeah.
But then overlaid on top of that is like, go this way. And I was like, that is so nuts, you know? Because even still,
I mean, I've had that issue too. I walked in the wrong. Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
This is the wrong
that's what I'm
street.
saying.
I got to go back the other end of the block.
Even though you have the bird's eye view,
Yeah.
you're like, is this the correct way?
Which one is north and south? I don't understand.
You're still confused.
Yeah.
But now if you just like open up your camera app and then it shows you like a direct arrow, that's crazy, bro. That's like definitely setting you up for the Apple glasses.
That's what to say. Yeah, the AR glasses.
Because like if you have those Apple glasses, it's like you don't even need to pull out your phone. You know, it's just right in front of your face. That's gonna be the beginning of heads up displays. You know, because we talked about that like in the like couple of podcasts ago. Heads up displays are going to be the future, but yeah, they're almost there with the Apple glasses.
Again,
And
it's small iterations that we see where it's going,
Yeah, totally.
and it's when it's right time. That's when they were normally.
You know what's really weird about all this? Because we're like essentially technophiles, we're like obsessed with technology. We can see where it's going, but could you imagine like our parents, for example, and you're like, oh, Dad, just strap on these glasses. We're like, what is this? Like, but we knew it was coming, you know?
Yeah.
But it must seem like a crazy jump to people who like have never like haven't been keeping up with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Of course.
it's like taking somebody from like 1940 and then showing them like the iPhone. They're like, what is this wizardry?
Yeah.
That's probably why they have to do it in yearly iterations. Because if they like take a year off and then they give us the craziest device, we'd probably freak out. Like, how would we learn how to use it?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that you do that you didn't even realize. Like,
Yeah.
it becomes so normal within that year.
UX, it's the user experience.
Yeah.
Like how,
It just becomes normal.
yeah, totally. And it's like you, like how do you know how to swipe up? Right? Nobody had to teach you that.
Right.
you had to learn it. But if you do it year by year iterations, then you're slowly teaching the audience the correct movements
Right.
for the future.
Yeah.
But again, if you jump from like 0 to 100, the learning curve is so steep.
Yeah.
You know, even right now with my do you have a button on your phone?
Yeah.
You have a button, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so this one doesn't have a button. I got the 11 Pro, and then I was on like Tara's phone. I think she has the
8.
8. She has the 8. So I swiped up, and I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh yeah, the button. Because now my
You got used to the thing without it.
and it was tripping me out because I was like, I was going, and I was like, this is not working. What's wrong with your phone? And then I remember like, no, you have a button.
Yeah. So your brain's already got used to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the thing that they're teaching you slowly.
They're teaching you slow, and that's why they have to do it year by year and like.
Well, they do
create,
it
like,
year by year, but
increments.
not everybody upgrades year by year.
Totally. Yeah, for sure. But
So it's like for me to jump from this to the 13, it's going to be
a slight learning curve.
slight learning curve for me, but I already know what was happening. I've been keeping up, right?
Right.
So it's like, but just have to relearn how to use it.
Yeah, totally.
That's all. Yeah.
But now imagine going from like iPhone 1 to now 13. Like that's a huge jump.
Yeah.
Because at least you're at what's your phone?
7.
7. So you're 7. Like at least you're still kind of in that sphere.
Well, a lot of the stuff is the same in the sense that the app design or like how to move between pages, right? Of seeing the different apps and which one.
Right.
Like the way this stuff runs and the foundation is still the same, but there's little bits of differences in now how you run it because there's no home button anymore.
Right.
Only mainly those are the things where you're
No, but like
relearn.
also now there's double controls. So like on the 11 Pro, so it's like pressure changes what you're tapping.
Oh, that I have that.
Oh, yeah. No, but what I'm saying is if you go from iPhone 1
Okay, yeah,
And
they didn't
then-
have that.
to 11 or like the new 12 or the soon to be 13, it's like, wait, there's levels of pressure that create different that's tripping me. Like if I push lightly, it has one set of controls. If I push harder, it has another set of controls. And it's like, wow, that is so trippy.
Yeah. So like that's
Like
see, that's
imagine
what I
from
mean.
one,
Like
they're like,
those
what is
iterations
this?
were in with the iPhone 7. I think I don't know where it started, but it was like it was there with the iPhone 7.
Yeah.
That push sensitivity thing.
Yeah.
So like already was teaching me that to be ready.
Totally. Actually, this totally undoes my whole irritation with Apple, because I was like, why do they have to do one every year? You know? But it's like, oh no, they're teaching you every year. Now that we're having this conversation, I never thought of it like this before.
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like, it's not really about selling you new tech. It's about teaching you new like gestures.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. We even call them gestures now. You know, they have like a term for it.
It's interesting to see like what transfers from what like one device to the other device too, because the gesture started on the trackpads.
Oh, true.
Now it's come to the phones.
Dude, I didn't even think about that. That is so true. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like 4-finger swipes, all that. Yeah, totally.
But that's where it started. Now we've got it on our phones, right? We're doing different sort of.
Yeah. Dude,
Sliding and
freaking Minority Report. That's what, that's the future we're headed in.
Right.
Okay, so the final thing, and this one was like the biggest mind blow for me, was the universal control. So right now, one of the things I really like about Apple is AirDrop, right? To me, that seems like magic. I'm like, any device that doesn't have AirDrop is just irritating me, because it's like, I need to give you this file, and all right, where's the USB? Where's the dongle? Where's the, something that's connecting it? But AirDrop made it like, it made it seamless, because I just drop you the file. Okay, from an Apple to Apple device. If you've never done it, it'll seem like wizardry, because you can drop like multiple gigs in just a few seconds. Okay, so with the M1 chips, and we talked about this too, because in the last podcast, because I had to go back and check it out. But what we were saying was, well, you were saying that they're introducing M1 chips. So basically, you can run a MacBook Pro on an iPad.
Yeah.
Right, because the M1 chip is like, it it allows that speed of processing, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, why would they be doing that? I'm like, oh, maybe because you can like take a file on the go, you know, drop it to my like, if I'm working on the computer, airdrop it onto my iPad, and then like I'll edit it, airdrop it onto my work computer, keep editing it. I was like, that makes sense. And that was just like nearsightedness, because that's what they did.
That's exactly what they did.
But even better than I thought, because I was using airdrop. I'm like, yeah, okay, just airdrop it. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, if you're just gonna go, it's like, no, you don't even need to airdrop anymore. That's what, like, all right, so this is bewildering to me, and this is my favorite feature, because I use multiple screens, right? So I like to go, so like multiple screens, but it's all one device. So what they did with this M1 chip is now each of your devices is a screen, but they're all connected.
Yeah.
So in order for me to run multiple screens, I need wires connecting to them. Now you don't even need a wire. If you have an iPad next to a MacBook Pro, and then next to your desktop, you can literally drag the cursor from one device to the next device to the next device. And not only that, you can drag file from one device to the next device to the next device. That is insanity to me. It's like you've completely done away with wires. We don't even need wires anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, imagine like a design circle, and then I'm showing people like, okay, I created this design. Guys, what do you think about it? And like, pass it to Jimmy. I think Jimmy can do it. Instead of me sitting up and then letting Jimmy take over, I just move the file onto Jimmy's iPad.
Yeah.
He'll edit it. He'll drag it back to me, and I'll continue editing from there. He's like, oh, I think the shade should be this. Okay, cool. Drag the file onto him. He'll adjust the shade, drag it back to me. That's insanity. Like, what is this? What are we doing? Like,
well, that's Minority Report.
No. It's better than Minority Report.
Okay.
So I had to Google, because after watching, I was like, dude, did they just create Minority Report? So I went to watch the Minority Report scene. No, they're using USBs. So
they're still.
That's why I was like, oh, it's better than Minority Report.
Okay.
So they weren't using like, it's not actually USB, but it was like a plate.
Weren't they doing like where they dragged something from here to here?
That was all. So that's what I thought. It was just one screen though.
Oh.
So his friend. I posted this, so in case you want to check it out, you can check out my Instagram. But so I thought he was dragging from one screen to the next screen. No, he had a giant screen. Okay. So then he's like, hey, I need you to run these IDs. So the guy's like, I found the ID. So then they put in this like sheet of glass. They took the IDs, put on the sheet of glass. They walked over the sheet of glass, put it onto his screen. Okay. So it's basically a USB.
Oh, okay. Right? I see.
But now what you can do is, I need these IDs, and then they just throw the IDs to him.
Right.
So it was like, you made it better than Minority Report. That's crazy to me. Like, I guess if you're not really into tech, all right, so there's one time, so me and Tara's mom were talking about New York City. And she was like, yeah, isn't Times Square amazing? I'm like, yeah, like how did they connect all screens to show one thing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So basically when you see Times Square, it's like giant digital billboards. But those billboards, they didn't create one giant billboard. They have a bunch of screens that are interconnected to show one image. And then she was like, oh, I didn't even think of it like that. And she's like, oh, because you're like technologically minded. She's just like, oh, how is this thing running? Like, oh, they have one giant thing, right? I'm like, no, it's like multiple units working simultaneously to project one image, you know? So I think if you're not thinking of it like that, you're kind of like, why are you so impressed by this technology?
Right.
But it's like, if you actually think about it, how did you possibly make it that all of our screens can connect seamlessly? Yeah.
That's
Apple, man.
Apple and M1, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea of M1. To make it even more seamless.
Yeah. And it's like, that is the craziest future ever. Okay, so do you have anything else about the WWDC?
There's one feature that I liked
Okay, what was it?
a lot. I think it's called Focus, and it was just because I use my phone as a work phone as well.
Okay.
And
Oh yeah, you were saying yeah.
Yeah, and then separating out the notifications based on like what I'm doing at the time. So
Right.
like I'm at work, I just want to see only work notifications, so that only that will be showing up. And then when I'm off or like whatever, like just put on the personal option on.
Yeah.
So only the personal things would only
up.
pop up.
So
I wouldn't get
basically,
any work
like
stuff.
different desktops.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even the layout of your home, the display, it will be different too, I believe.
You know who does that already? Because you were like, oh, all this technology is not new. It's not on the phone, but Google Chrome. So I didn't even know this is how it worked until somebody showed me it, like when I was working at Greenbelt. Whatever you save under your Google Chrome email, like if you use your Gmail, right? When you switch to your work Gmail, all of your bookmarks shift.
Yeah.
All of your favorites shift. Like basically the layout completely shifts. That's essentially what Apple did with this. It's like if you need your work time stuff, it'll revamp your entire phone setup to be in work mode. And then you could switch to, personal after. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think that I like that a lot.
Yeah,
for
totally.
me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because instead of like hiding certain things or like decluttering certain things, it's like, no, just like this is the interface I need right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could actually be really good too if you're like your art interface, your video editing interface. You know what I mean? Like depending on what you need at that moment, your layout will shift. So you don't have to keep swiping through multiple pages of apps,
Right.
Yeah.
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 Because I know I'm going to use that feature.
Yeah. Well, when does all this come out?
Fall.
Fall? So we can expect all this AR and like share play fall. Okay, so speaking of tech, all of this sounds crazy like wizardry, right?
Right.
Okay, now we're going to take another step further. Obama admitted to UFOs. Not aliens. Like he's like we don't have a science place with like a like an alien autopsy that we're like whatevering, but he's like, but there is so much footage of technology out there that we have no idea what it is. And what's crazy to me is that we think we're on an insane level. Like, all right, so to like my dad, he's like, how does this all work? He has no idea, but like it's logical. So now you look at these UFO sightings and you're like, how does this all work? That's what we're looking at, because we're like, we have no idea what the iterations are, right? Because we couldn't see their iteration, but I'm sure it's like super logical. And UFOs have like become really in the mainstream limelight right now. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about it. Sam Harris talked about it. Obama admitted it. The Pentagon's about to like release a bunch of files and stuff to the Senate. And like when Joe Rogan said like he thinks that they're just drones from like other civilizations, that makes a lot of sense to me, because we're doing that to Mars. So there might not actually be any aliens inside these devices. They could just be, drones.
Yeah, I thought that made the most sense.
That does make the most sense. Yeah. So, but like, we're not going to speculate on where they come from, all that stuff, but just there's technology out there that we have no idea how it works, and it's like right in our faces.
Well, in front of their faces, I guess. We haven't seen it.
It's like it's captured. Yeah. It makes you really wonder about our place in the universe, all that stuff. One thing that they were saying is like it could just be a different country's technology. I highly doubt that though. What's weird though,
I think is that what Pentagon said? But we don't know what it is, but we don't think it's alien. We don't know what it is.
Yeah. But
like they did say that.
But if it's been going on for years, since like 1970 or 1940, like it's actually been going, if you consider it this way, then you could technically say it's been going on since like religious times, because there's been so many religious depictions of like UFOs.
Yeah.
But that could just be far reaching. Let's just go with what we know, which is it's at least been around since like 1900s. Like they've been capturing
Since
these
whenever
devices.
they've started keeping records or whatever.
Or like and taking photos of things in the sky, because they have photos of like technology like that's been in our skies way back when, like since the 1900s. And yeah, what is this freaking Wakanda, bro? Like you remember France said he's like, what if when France said it's like water people, it's like could be, man. Could, because those ships that they see. So one of the videos that I watched, I couldn't find I know we were talking about the 60-minute special. I can only see clips of the 60-minute special because like they didn't release it online.
Yeah, I don't think you have to like have it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like their proprietary stuff. Yeah. So like what I found on YouTube was there was this one footage of unidentified flying object. They're called UAPs now.
Yeah.
Unidentified aerial phenomenons. So I'll use that. UAPs, they caught it. One went into the ocean, and then when it came back out, two came out. So that's one of their footage things that they captured. This is like 2019. So it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, it seems more and more.
What are they doing in the oceans? You know?
Well, I think that's probably the best place too, because we haven't explored all the oceans.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
No, we have not.
And these are like areas where we don't really go.
Yeah. Off the like very far off the coast,
in the middle of the ocean. Like, why are we going to be? We can't even go there. Like,
yeah, totally. And so you're like, well, if we don't go there, how'd they get caught? And it was the U.S. fighters, because they fly over there.
Yeah. Like you can fly. That's the only way to capture something like this. Yeah. Right. But we don't like. We're not like crossing these paths in the ocean.
Yeah, totally.
That easily.
Although Joe Rogan did say that there was a commercial air flight that all of them saw the UFO. Yeah. As they were like in.
Is it always flying in the same spot?
Like no. It's all over the world.
Right. No.
It's always near water, if that's what you're.
I understand. Yeah. Is it always in the same areas in the water?
I mean, like
from where they go, like wherever they dropped in, and then two you said came out. Is it always?
Oh, it's in that same spot. Yeah. So it went down.
Yeah.
Two came up right away.
Right. Do they have like a focus on that area? Like, did they know where that area was?
True. Why don't they just start like, or maybe they are doing that now. Maybe like that's what they're not releasing to the public. Maybe they are watching these zones.
Right. Like they can actually
satellites.
Yeah, they can like go there when like.
Yeah. Why don't you run some experiments or something?
Like, use that sonar stuff. I don't know, like to what's underneath.
Like, I get Neil deGrasse Tyson's opinion on it, where he's like, "Did you calibrate your machines?" And what he's saying is like, we run very meticulous scrutiny on all scientific pursuits. So this is just another scientific pursuit. So why don't you just check all of your machines, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So he gave a really good example of they thought there was a planet X. Yeah. So like, you remember all that talk about Planet X? So like, they were like, okay, there's Venus, and Venus is not acting correct to the mathematics of gravity. So it would suggest that there's a planet behind Venus, and then lo and behold, they found another planet. This is how they found all the planets, right? Yeah. But then they were like, okay, there's something odd about this other planet, and it's like Jupiter or something. They're like, we can't get it to be mathematically correct. But then recently they found out, so they thought there was a Planet X. That's when all that speculation of Planet X came out. And then when they look back at it, the machine wasn't calibrated. When they fixed the calibration, all the math made sense. And they're like, oh, there's no Planet X.
Yeah. So that's how they accidentally found Pluto.
Yeah. Similar. Yeah.
No, I mean like, because they didn't find the Planet X.
There's been multiple Planet X. So yes, I know what you're talking about, but there's been multiple Planet. They just call it Planet X as means we don't know what it is.
Right.
But throughout time, there's been like supposed Planet X's. So yes, that's how they found Pluto. But then like they're like, okay, that one's correct, but this math is still wrong, so maybe there's another planet X.
Yeah.
They just like, it's just a ubiquitous name. Because
Okay.
yeah, right. Because Joe Rogan was like, yeah, this like, I remember the Planet X stuff happened during this year, and then Neil deGrasse Tyson was like, there's been multiple Planet X's. It's just a name that they call a planet that they haven't discovered.
Right.
Yeah. But anyways, that all being said, it was all just because of calibration error. So what he's saying is like, are these real UAPs, or are they just like calibration errors?
Mm-hmm.
But then Joe Rogan's like, how do you discount like the fighter pilots that saw with their bare eyes? You know? And he's like, well, scrutiny, like,
well, yeah,
I get it.
As a scientist, you just got to keep asking for more evidence, right?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. That's their job.
But
basically.
to me, like as a layman, it seems like the evidence is pretty overwhelming here.
Of course, yeah. But you don't want to have a conclusion yet.
Yeah,
if you're a scientist. Until,
yeah, fair.
Because it's not.
But it's pretty crazy that Obama admitted, like, no, these things are out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have tremendous amounts of footage. But again, if we come into contact with it, if we can deconstruct it, we figure out how it works, and it's like, oh, that's pretty logical. Like, I don't think there's anything outside the realm of human understanding, personally.
Yeah.
Like, it's all logical. It only seems like magic till you figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Last one, speaking of magic, Loki. What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably the greatest buddy cop thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it's really...
It's nice to see Owen Wilson back, though.
I was about to say, yeah. Yeah, I missed him. But you know why he went away, right?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So remember Darjeeling Limited, that movie? And he was like all bandaged up. So he tried to commit suicide.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think they didn't want to hire him after that. Like, he slit his wrists, and that's why there was bandages on his wrists.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't think his character was supposed to be bandaged up, but they did that because, like, how are we going to hide
they had
these?
to put it into the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because I think he was already contracted for it, but then he tried to commit suicide, so he had to still finish it. So, yeah. Glad he's better, though. He's so funny, dude. Like, his comedic timing is, like when he was talking to the judge.
Yeah.
Or whatever she was. Like, the way he was interacting with her, it reminded me of, like, classic Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
You know, he's so good. Yeah, it's really good to see him back. Him and Loki together are, like... I really like Falcon and Winter Soldier, but watching this, I'm like, ooh, I don't know who I like better now. In terms of
series... We have to see more, right? It's just the first episode so far.
Yeah. In terms of series... I would have to say Falcon and Winter Soldier is still better because it touched on like a lot of, I mean, granted it's still episode 1, but it touched on like a lot of societal things, which I like. But in terms of like the dynamic, I don't know. I think I like the Owen Wilson Loki a little better.
This one will be more like more delving into like the esoteric bits.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Like these questions about free will.
Yeah.
It kept happening. So.
Yeah, it was talking about determinism there. But it's weird because, like, if everything's determined, then how can you venture outside your timeline?
Right. So I think
unless it was determined to happen that way, you know? I feel like the writers also don't fully understand free will.
Sometimes when you work with time, it's very hard, very difficult to just
write it. Yeah.
You're going to have to give leeway here and there.
Because if it's really determined, then that was meant to happen.
Yeah.
But they were suggesting that everything's determined, you know? Yeah. Anyways,
maybe that's going to be the shocker.
What? That it was actually determined to happen?
Maybe.
Yeah, true. It would shock even Owen Wilson. But what I really like is how methodical they all, how organized they all are. So it's like when you come from the world of, you know, like the MCU and you're like, oh, Thanos is this crazy guy, Loki's so powerful, like, and then you go to the TVA and you're like, oh, they're just like beings. And like somebody like Owen Wilson, who's just super aloof, is just like, that's right, buddy. Yeah, you're powerful. You're like, it really like,
sure. Yeah.
It makes you wonder. It really like tones down the severity of the MCU. Because like when you watch Thanos, you're like, oh my god, this guy's like the killer of the universe. Right. You go to TVA and like remember he's like, you have all these Infinity Stones in this drawer. you know, and like we all think Infinity Stones are crazy. He's like, oh, these are paperweights, right? Like to them, it's like your power doesn't matter here.
Right. Yeah. It just like nothing worked there, right? Like even
This is amazing. It's,
but it was just it's kind of like an outside realm of the world. Like it seems like I don't know. It's I don't know. It's hard, like a purgatory place, or like
it really makes you seem like your problems aren't that big.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like we're all worried about Thanos, we're all worried about Loki, and it's like they're nothing here. Like literally, they're nothing.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like these are the gods that set the timeline, right?
Yeah.
You're just playing in that time.
You think it's gonna tie into Eternals then?
I don't know. I wonder what that would mean for Eternals then. Did they really matter? Like, you know what I mean?
Maybe they are part of Eternals.
I don't know.
Timekeepers or something. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you've already played this game here now, it's like whatever's really happening in the MCU doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What are? Yeah, it makes you think. Like, what are the bigger problems here? Like, are even the MCU people, like the Avengers, are they even powerful? Probably not. Well, they aren't, because like Loki obviously is not powerful at all.
Right. Yeah, it's like his powers don't work there or anything, right? So it's like, what
is the Timekeeper related to Watchmen? No, sorry, not Watchmen. My bad. The Watcher. Remember the Watchers in Marvel?
The Watchers?
There's like, they look like kind of like aliens. Like they wore robes. They're bald and like.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. So like
so much stuff in the movies I don't remember.
Yeah. Are you checking now?
Just typing in the Watchers.
Yeah, so they were like these, because you talked about the three, right? There's like the statue of the three.
Yeah.
I think there were 3 Watchers. Basically people who oversaw determinism, like fate.
I guess are they from the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Watchers.
And then I guess Galactus is the, like, I don't know who the main enemy is for the Watchers, but
I'm not sure. I have to do like actual, like research. I can't just get it off from.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get. But yeah, so I really like the MCU world, man, because they're really fleshing it out in such a way. Well, I guess Marvel was already like fleshed out.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. I think because there's a plethora of stories here that they can work with from Marvel.
Yeah.
That's already done so much for years, right?
And the world is so built, you know? Like,
even we haven't read all these things.
Yeah, totally.
So it's very cool to see.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah. I'm excited to see where it goes. All right, no, I'm just gonna say it because we're well
into it.
Yeah, we're well into it. I'm just gonna talk about it anyways. I wasn't going to, but it's on my list, and I'm like, screw it. Quentin Tarantino, best director. I just went back on watching like Kill Bill and like, because I always wanted to watch Pulp Fiction. So apparently that wasn't his first one. I just watched another YouTube video about his directing, and his first movie was Reservoir Dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. And then his second movie is Pulp Fiction. But it's crazy to me. Now I want to watch Reservoir Dogs, see where it goes. But it's crazy to me that when you're a real master of something, your style can be seen throughout all of your work. You know, I know we talked about this in like Guy Ritchie before, but Guy Ritchie's now deviating a little bit from
He's doing different things.
Yeah, he like did Aladdin. His new one, Wrath of Man, was like, it was good, but like Guy Ritchie's a caper guy, you know, he's like he has like multiple storylines that tie together and it has something to do with a heist, right? That's classic Guy Ritchie. Because he started deviating away from that, he kind of fell off as my favorite director. I think my favorite director now is Quentin Tarantino because throughout all of his work, you can see a distinct line of this is Quentin Tarantino.
You're right. This is his work.
You know?
Yeah.
Like we were discussing this like off the podcast, but like even Christopher Nolan, there's no real line. I know you're talking about like he deals with time, but that's not really a directing style.
That's not
like
no.
you can pick up any because Pulp Fiction was the only one I hadn't seen of Quentin Tarantino's work, and I was kind of like hesitant. A lot of people talked about it. I was like, is it really that good? It's probably not. Blah blah blah. It's phenomenal. You could release that movie now, and you're like, Quentin Tarantino did it again. Like it's because it's his storytelling style that it's what you'd expect from Quentin Tarantino.
Right.
Like it is a Quentin Tarantino film. I think he's the only director that can officially put a stamp on it and be like, this is my film. These are my films.
Right.
You know, if you're like, oh, this is a Guy Ritchie film, like it lost value when he started doing other things, like, but all power to him, because he's like, I was just getting bored. Like I can't just keep making the same, you know, gangster flicks.
I mean, everybody changes, right?
Totally. But what I like about Quentin Tarantino is his style didn't change, just the theme changed. So he's like, oh, I'm going to create like a martial arts movie. I'm going to create a Western. I'm going to create a Nazi movie, you know? But
it's all
the style's all the same.
Yeah.
If you go back, that's why I want to watch Reservoir Dogs. If Reservoir Dogs is just like all the other ones, I had seen it before, but I wasn't really into Quentin Tarantino before.
Yeah.
But like if I go back and it's just as good, he is officially the greatest director of all time in my eyes, because like, and he also won like Oscars and stuff for his style. But it's like, you are the only person that stayed true to your craft.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. That's why I like his work.
Yeah, I know. But it's weird because like for a long time there, I hated Quentin Tarantino because I just didn't get it. The only movie I liked was Kill Bill 1 and 2. That's what kept him in my mind. And I was like, okay. And the Inglourious Basterds was really good too. And I was like, okay. Those are the only 3 that I would accept.
Yeah. You didn't like the Hateful
Django
Eight
was good
as
too.
much.
No, I hated Hateful. I gotta watch that again now.
Oh, I loved it.
I gotta watch that one again.
Yeah.
But now I've grown like a respect for him. It's almost like it's like wine, you know, when you're like, or like beer. When you're a kid, you drink alcohol, you're like, ew, this is gross. But then you start developing a taste for it because your palate gets more mature. I feel like as a kid, I could only gravitate towards like Kill Bill because it was gory and like I like martial arts. But now that I'm like older, it's like you see the brilliance in his work. How everything is so interconnected.
Right.
But what I love about it is it's not until halfway through the movie you're like, what the hell's going on? Like the first half, you're like, what the hell's going on?
I know.
And then the second half, it's like, oh my God, everything makes sense.
Exactly. That's why I like this stuff. That's why I loved Hateful Eight too. It just
but his was broken into 2 movies, right? It was like part 1, part 2.
Yeah, he did it that
was like
way.
3 hours. So like the first one's like an hour and a half, and the whole hour and a half is like, what the hell is going on, bro?
Yeah.
And the second half, it's like everything makes sense. Yeah, that's why I love Quentin Tarantino. Hasn't deviated. Like if you watch Pulp Fiction, I was having a hard time there. I'm like, what am I watching? I was like confused.
Right.
But then boom, second half, you're like, wow, you are a brilliant director.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. That's the only one I haven't watched.
Oh, it's
also
you won't be disappointed. I don't want to give it away, but I won't give it away. But it's just he's a brilliant director. That's all I want to say.
Right.
That's how we'll end it. Yeah, stay true to your craft, because you never know in the future. Like staying true to your craft lets you cement your identity in this world, because like a Leonardo da Vinci, right? Like you're like, oh, this is his style.
Painting.
It's his painting. Yeah.
His style.
Like this is a Quentin Tarantino. This is a Quentin Tarantino. This is a Rembrandt. This is a Jackson Pollock. You know, like those artists that are super famous. They only got that way because they said like, I'm not deviating away from my style. And like Christopher Nolan, amazing director. Guy Ritchie, amazing director. But compared to Quentin Tarantino, like they kind of deviated in their, you know, they'll go down as great directors, but like, I think the greatest.
But there's something to Quentin Tarantino. Like we know. Like
you know what you're getting.
That's his movie. Yeah. Like we know that this is Quentin Tarantino when you watch anything without knowing it. It's
totally.
Like,
yeah.
That's sure. Quentin Tarantino.
But if you watch like the catalogs of work of Guy Ritchie, you watch friggin' Aladdin, you're like, anybody could have directed this. Yeah. I was excited for Aladdin because it was like about a street rat. So you're like, okay, it's going to be a gangster flick. I thought it was going to be a gangster flick, you know, because after watching King Arthur, King Arthur was a very Guy Ritchie film. But then Aladdin was not. Wrath of Man was kind of, but it was like, meh. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Stay true to your craft. All right. Till next time. How long was this?
Hour and 45.
Damn. I knew this was going to be long. All right. Till next time, Bish. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Bish.
Peace.